Shalom to Kulam. Welcome, everyone. Dear friends, my name is David Bernstein, and I serve as Deputy Director General of the Israel Reform Movement. Many of you know us as the IMPJ. Last year at this time, with my colleague Anna Kislansky, the CEO of the Israel Reform Movement, I attended the inaugural conference of Re-CHARGING Reform. I found last year's conference to be profoundly meaningful, and so I just couldn't bring myself not to do something crazy and come to New York for less than 72 hours to be at this conference. I bring you greetings, support, and gratitude from the Israel Reform Movement. I'm so glad that I decided to come. I've learned so much here about the challenges you are facing since October 7th in being both Zionists and progressives, and how incredibly brave you are, especially the young generation. I'm in awe of the things I heard yesterday and just now, this morning, from the people who are fighting to continue to be progressives and at the same time not giving up on Zionism and on Israel. It's a personal honor to be here as a proud Israeli Reform Jew who is a product of the American Reform Movement. My Zionism came from the rabbi of my classic Reform congregation that I grew up in San Francisco, Rabbi Marty Wiener of blessed memory. And my Zionism came from giants of our movement, like Rabbi Alexander Schindler and Rabbi Joe Glazer and Rabbi Ami Hirsch's father, Rabbi Richard Hirsch. My Zionism came primarily, though, from my many summers as a camper, counselor, and unit head at UAHC Camp Swig in Northern California. Yeah, the predecessor of Camp Newman. And my Zionism came from being an officer of NIFTY. Okay, that's where I got it. I am a Reform Zionist who made Aliyah as part of the Reform group Garin, who created Kibbutz Yahel, where the most important thing in my life happened. There I met my wife Nirit, who's a graduate of the Leo Beck School in Haifa. I was at the one of the most monumental events of my life was being at the UAHC Biennial in 1977 in San Francisco, the place I grew up in. Was anyone there? Okay, a few people. At that biennial, a decision was made by the UAHC to create ARTSA, to join the Zionist movement, to proudly say we're a Zionist organization. Since the breakout of the war, after the terrible events of October 7th, our movement in Israel, congregations and institutions, have been thoroughly and completely and intensively engaged in providing spiritual and material relief and resilience to the people most impacted by the situation, the people from what we call the Western Negev, other people say Gaza envelope, and people from the north of Israel that we sometimes forget that there are over 200,000 Israelis evacuated from there. Our rabbis in particular have been heroic in their tireless work to bring resilience and relief. One example is right here with us, Rabbi Meir Azari, who's making the Daniel Centers, or made them, who made them a place that has provided so much relief to evacuees from Sderot. And all our rabbis, especially our rabbis working with those populations day to day, are simply awe-inspiring. We work in the Israel Reform Movement closely with the Hostage Forum, and every Motzei Shabbat, hundreds of Israelis are coming to our Havdalot ceremonies in Hostage Square. We are punching as a movement far above our weight. We are grateful for the massive financial support we have received from many of you here in order to carry out these interventions. And of course, we hope this continues and makes up for the loss, sadly, of promised government support, because we're not liked so much by the government of Israel. The Israel Reform Movement mission and vision states specifically that we are a Zionist movement and committed, among many other things besides building our movement in Israel, we're proudly committed to Israel-diaspora relations as a major strategic pillar. We do this through the Domim Project, which partners Israeli congregations and reform institutions with congregations and reform counterparts in North America and throughout the world. We are planning to initiate projects to connect our thriving young adult movement, Telamim, with reform young adults in North America, and are so excited to be a partner in the project, the Taglit project that Tracy talked about yesterday. It's so important to connect young Israeli young adults with young adults here. I also want to call on everyone in this room to join with our North American movement, with the URJ, ARTSA, Artsenu, and the World Union in working together on all these challenges and on one of the most important efforts that needs all your support, and that is the upcoming elections in the World Zionist Organization. There is a major threat from the Haredi Zionist, so-called Zionist organization, Eretz HaKodesh, that has made it clear that their goal in building their movement is to end the influence of Reform Judaism in the Zionist movement and in Israel itself. In a flyer they put out before Pesach, they wrote, "B'kol dor v'dor omdim aleinu." They didn't finish the quote, but it's obvious what they meant. They listed a series of things that legitimately they can be against what we do under that title. And basically we're saying to their population, to their potential voters, that we, the Reformed Jews of the world, are like Amalek or like the Hamas and need to be obliterated. It's sad, so I call on all of you to work with Artsen and Artsenu, leaders of whom are in this room. There's too many of them to mention all their names, but I want to thank them for all the work they're doing. I call on everyone to help them in this election effort. It's crucial to the future of Reform Judaism in Israel and Israel itself as a Jewish and democratic nation. And in my view, success in the elections has profound meaning for the future of Reform Judaism here in North America. I made a special, less than 72-hour trip to New York to be with all of you at this conference. In a few hours, I'm getting on a plane for my return trip to Israel. I apologize that I have to leave here a couple of hours early. But I'm going back because we're having a conference of our movement in Israel this weekend on Friday with a little bit of an extension on Saturday under the title Esai Nai, We Lift Our Eyes. We're not calling it a celebration as we did our previous biennials. We're calling it a gathering, and our leadership felt strongly that a gathering of our movement is in order also to process what's gone on over the last 8 months and to develop our common vision for the day after. We were expecting maybe 200 or 300 people to show up. We were shocked and surprised that over 750 people registered. And sadly, we had to stop the registration because the venue, and there weren't large enough venues available because evacuees are living at all those venues that are large enough. And so we had to stop the registration at 750. We got special permission from the people who give permission to bring 1,000 people total to services and dinner tomorrow night. It's the largest reform gathering in the world, I'm proud to say, since the URJ gathering 2019. I am so proud to be an Israeli Reform Jew. I want to end by personally thanking again Rabbi Ami Hirsch for his leadership, in making this incredible conference happen, and for his support, and for, again, to all of you for your support of the IMPJ. I want to thank all the leaders involved in putting this conference together, too many to name. I want to thank Rabbi Tracy Kaplowitz for her work on this. We in the IMPJ, our congregations, our rabbis, lay leaders, and institutions are your natural allies in Israel, and we will work with you to ensure the future of North American Reform Jewry as a proud social justice movement with Zionism and Jewish peoplehood and Torah at its core. We will do this and at the same time continue our dynamic growth and impact on Israeli society and ensure that Israel's future is of a Jewish and democratic society. To quote a song that all of us have sang together for decades, we shall overcome. Thank you.